unveiling secrets that could shake your deepest beliefs, lessons men learn too late in life and that might hurt their feelings. In a world that preaches external control as the key to success, we reveal a truth that challenges everything you know. These lessons are not just advice, they are powerful revelations that promise swift and impactful transformations, offering a less traveled path to true serenity and self-mastery. Are you ready to explore truths that many discover only when it's too late? Gear up for a journey that goes well beyond the ordinary, where curiosity will be your compass to uncover the hidden power of Stoicism. Watch until the end and transform your life with timeless wisdom. Chapter 1. The Power of Perception. Imagine yourself in the midst of a storm, not just any storm, but the storm of life, where each raindrop represents a challenge, an obstacle, an adversity. Sound familiar? Certainly. All of us at some point find ourselves under these stormy skies. Yet there's an extraordinary power at our disposal, often underestimated or forgotten, the power of perception. It is not things that disturb us, but our interpretation of them. These words, spoken centuries ago by the philosopher Emperor Marcus Aurelius, carry timeless wisdom. They remind us that, though we may not always control the events around us, we have the ability to choose how we respond to them. This is the essence of true freedom, not the absence of setbacks, but the ability to choose our reaction to them. But how do we access this state of being? How can we learn to see not just with physical eyes, but with the mind and heart? The answer lies in the practice of perception. Instead of being swept away by the current of events, we can learn to position ourselves as observers. Imagine standing at the edge of a raging river. The waters flow fiercely, carrying leaves, branches, and even small animals. Similarly, life bombards us with its myriad challenges. Yet, instead of being carried away by the current, you stand firm, observing. This metaphor illustrates the difference between being passively affected by events or actively choosing how to interpret and respond to them. Developing this observational capacity requires practice and patience. It starts with the awareness of our own thoughts and emotions. Every time we face a challenging situation, we have the opportunity to ask ourselves, am I viewing this situation solely through the eyes of fear, frustration, or can I see through a lens of learning, growth, perhaps even gratitude? This shift in perspective doesn't mean ignoring pain or challenge, but rather choosing a response that empowers us rather than diminishes us. This process of perception allows us to find calm in the midst of chaos. It's like learning to dance in the rain instead of just waiting for the storm to pass. The ability to choose our response to adversity is an incredible power we all possess. However, it requires that we know ourselves deeply, that we are willing to look inward, and above all, that we are prepared to exercise our freedom of choice consciously. So the next time you find yourself in the midst of a storm, remember the power of your perception. Remember that although we cannot control all aspects of our lives, we can always control how we choose to respond to them. This is a true manifestation of freedom and an inexhaustible source of inner strength. And thus, even in the most turbulent moments, we can find a haven of peace and clarity within ourselves, allowing us to navigate through chaos with grace and resilience. Chapter 2. Embracing Impermanence. Now let's dive into another dimension of human existence, equally profound and transformative, the acceptance of impermanence. Imagine for a moment that we are standing by the bank of a majestic river, watching its waters flow endlessly. This perpetual stream serves as a powerful reminder of the transient nature of everything that exists. Just like the flowing water, nothing in life is static. Everything is in constant motion, change, and evolution. Understanding and accepting that everything in life is borrowed, that we are merely passing through, can initially seem like a daunting, even frightening notion. However, this realization carries with it a powerful key to emotional and spiritual freedom. By acknowledging the transience of everything, we free ourselves from the fear of loss. After all, how can we fear losing what we always knew could not be held forever? This awakening to impermanence invites us to embrace gratitude for the present moment. Each instant becomes a precious gift, an ephemeral treasure that once gone does not return. This perspective urges us to live more fully, consciously, and appreciatively. Instead of clinging to material possessions, relationships, or even ideas as if they were permanent, we learn to cherish every moment, every connection, every experience for its intrinsic and temporary value. But how do we practice this acceptance in everyday life, in a world that constantly pushes us towards accumulation and permanence? The key lies in cultivating mindfulness, a state of being present here and now that allows us to savor the beauty and uniqueness of each moment. It's about recognizing that while we can plan for the future and remember the past, the only place where life truly happens is in the present. This recognition leads us to a deeper appreciation of the small joys, the subtleties of life that often go unnoticed when we are focused on what is eternal or unchangeable. The dance of leaves in the wind, the smile of a loved one, the serenity of dawn, each of these experiences becomes a reminder of the ephemeral beauty of existence. Accepting impermanence is not about resignation, but a celebration of life in its purest and most dynamic form. It is an invitation to let go of what we cannot control and to find peace and satisfaction in the natural flow of being. By embracing this truth, we open ourselves to a life of greater presence, gratitude, and authenticity. And paradoxically, by accepting that everything is temporary, we find a lasting source of contentment and inner peace, flowing through us with the same grace and ease as the waters of a constantly moving river. Chapter 3. The Value of Silence. Now let me guide you into an even more intimate and revealing territory, the value of silence. This realm is where wisdom and depth intertwine, a sacred space that, in the words of the Stoic philosopher Epictetus, invites us to ponder, speak only if what you are going to say is more important than silence. This guidance is not just a lesson in speech moderation, but an invitation to recognize and cherish the potency of the unsaid, the space between words where true understanding and insight can flourish. In a world saturated with noise, opinions, and constant discourse, silence emerges as a refuge, an oasis of peace and reflection. But the value of silence extends beyond merely serving as a counterpoint to external noise. It is a gateway to deeper communication with our own selves and the universe around us. In silence, we slow down, turn inward, and create space for innate wisdom to emerge. Quietude offers us a blank canvas, free from the projections and noise of others' opinions. It is in this void that true understanding has room to sprout and flourish. Like a silent garden, our inner self is nourished in silence, allowing the seeds of insight to germinate and grow. This journey takes us to the discovery of our essence, where the answers lie not in heard words, but in felt wisdom. Practicing silence is, therefore, an act of active listening, not just to the external world, but also to our inner world. It is about being present, truly present, so that we can hear not only what is said, but also what is left unsaid. It is in this deep listening that we begin to perceive nuances, emotions, and insights that would otherwise elude us. Furthermore, silence acts as a catalyst for creativity and innovation. In the quiet of our mind, away from distractions and the incessant flow of information, new ideas and creative solutions have room to emerge. Like a tranquil lake that perfectly reflects the stars of the night sky, a silenced mind can clearly reflect the infinite possibilities of the universe. To view silence not as an absence, but as a full presence is an art. It is learning to be comfortable with one's own company, to enjoy being with oneself, and to find peace and contentment in stillness. This is an invitation to slow down, breathe deeper, and let silence envelop us, revealing depths of ourselves we may have never known. Thus, by valuing silence, we not only enrich our inner world, but also transform the way we interact with the world around us. We learn to speak with purpose and listen with intention, to recognize beauty in the unsaid, and to find wisdom in stillness. And on this journey, we discover that often, silence speaks louder and more truthfully than any word ever could. Chapter 4. Virtue as the Goal. In our journey through deep understandings of life and being, we arrive at a concept that is, at times, overshadowed by the relentless pursuit of fleeting pleasures and material wealth. The pursuit of virtue as the true path to happiness. This principle, echoing through the ages, challenges us to look beyond the immediacy of sensory desires and the accumulation of possessions, directing our attention to something more enduring and genuinely enriching. Virtue, unlike passing pleasures and riches that can be lost or stolen, is an inalienable good. A treasure that once cultivated becomes an inseparable part of our being. It is the highest expression of what it means to be truly human, reflecting qualities such as kindness, justice, courage, and wisdom. These are not just beautiful words, but principles that, when lived, elevate us, complete us, and connect us more authentically with others and the world. The pursuit of virtue invites us on an inward journey, a path of self-discovery and self-transformation that is as challenging as it is deeply rewarding. Instead of being carried away by the incessant flow of desires and aversions that characterizes the human condition, we choose to steer our moral compass by ethical values and lofty principles. This process of refining and elevating our character is not a solitary or selfish journey. On the contrary, it is through our interaction with the world and others that virtues are tested, honed, and manifested. In this context, happiness is understood not as a series of pleasurable moments, but as a sense of wholeness and fulfillment that arises when we live according to the highest standards of integrity and human dignity. It is a happiness that is lasting because it is rooted in the core of who we are, not in what we own or experience externally. The true beauty of this perspective lies in its universality and timelessness. No matter the era or place, the fundamental virtues remain the same, transcending cultural and historical boundaries. And though the pursuit of virtue may seem a less traveled road in the modern world, filled with distractions and instant gratifications, it is precisely this journey that offers the promise of a more authentic and enduring happiness. Therefore, as we make choices in life, set our priorities, and seek meaning and purpose, may we remember the ancient wisdom that teaches us that virtue is the only true good we truly possess. It is the foundation upon which a full and meaningful life is built. And by cultivating virtues in our lives, we not only draw closer to true happiness, but also contribute to a more just, compassionate, and harmonious world. Chapter 5. Sovereignty over desires. Lastly, but no less significant, we enter the domain of sovereignty over desires, a concept that challenges us to reflect on the essence of true freedom. Freedom is the only worthy dignity of man, proclaimed Seneca, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, whose words echo through the centuries to the core of our quest for a deeper sense of autonomy and self-determination. This notion of freedom transcends the mere absence of external restrictions. It is about an internal achievement, a victory over the whirlwinds of desires and emotions that often govern us in subtle yet profound ways. True freedom emerges not from indiscriminate indulgence in these internal forces, but from a conscious sovereignty over them. It is the power to say no when our most primitive impulses cry out for immediate satisfaction, and the power to say yes to choices that reflect our higher values and our long-term vision for our lives. In this context, governing our desires and emotions does not mean repressing or denying them, but understanding them, questioning them, and when necessary, redirecting them. Just as a skilled rider guides his horse with firmness but respect, we too can learn to steer our desires and emotions in a way that serves our higher purposes, rather than diverting us from them. This journey to true freedom is both intimate and universal, inviting each of us to explore the depths of our own nature. In doing so, we discover that our capacity for joy, satisfaction, and peace does not depend on the attainment of external objects of desire, but on the quality of our internal relationship with those desires. When we become masters, not slaves, of our impulses, we open the doors to a form of freedom that is truly worthy of human dignity. This form of freedom is revolutionary in essence, as it redefines the concept of power. True power lies not in the ability to exert control over others or the external world, but in the skill to control oneself. In this sense, sovereignty over desires is the highest form of personal power, a force that empowers us to live according to our highest principles, regardless of external circumstances. Thus, as we strive to conquer our desires and emotions, we do more than merely seek self-discipline. We embark on a path of personal transformation that leads to true freedom. And in this freedom, we find not just the dignity of being, but also the key to a life of deep meaning, purpose, and fulfillment. Therefore, may we all aspire to this sovereignty, to this freedom, as the noblest of human endeavors, and in the process, discover the fullness of living truly free. If you're enjoying this, don't miss out on the opportunity. Purchase the ebook now, Stoicism in the 21st Century, Ancient Strategies for Modern Challenges, and unlock your prosperity, abundance, and improve your relationships with this ebook. Link in the pinned comment. Chapter 6, The Importance of Self-Sufficiency. Advancing in our exploration into the depths of existence and being, we arrive at a fundamental concept for personal fulfillment: the importance of self-sufficiency. This idea, far from promoting isolation or insensitivity to the riches of human relations and the world, encourages us to recognize a powerful truth: that the primary source of our inner peace and happiness lies within ourselves, not in external circumstances or possessions. Self-sufficiency is, therefore, the ability to find contentment and fulfillment in one's own company, achievements, and personal growth. It teaches us that while external aspects of life, such as relationships, professional success, and material goods, can enhance our life experience, they should not be the pillars upon which our inner peace and happiness are built. These pillars must be internal, forged from our own resilience, values, and the continual pursuit of self-knowledge and personal growth. This understanding does not distance us from others, but, paradoxically, brings us closer to them in a healthier and more authentic way. When we do not solely depend on external sources for our happiness, we can relate in a more genuine manner, without the pressure to extract validation, security, or contentment from these interactions. Thus, Self-sufficiency frees us to love, share, and connect from a place of internal abundance rather than scarcity or dependency. Cultivating self-sufficiency is a path of personal empowerment. It challenges us to take responsibility for our own life, feelings, and well-being. This does not mean that we should or can be islands, completely autonomous and devoid of the need for interaction or support. On the contrary, it acknowledges that, while the support and love of others are important, our ability to navigate life with confidence and peace of mind must ultimately emanate from within us. Moreover, self-sufficiency encourages us to develop a trusting and respectful relationship with ourselves. We learn to listen to our intuition, to honor our needs and limits, and to pursue our passions and goals with determination. This process of self-trust and self-respect not only enhances our ability to face challenges and overcome adversities, but also allows us to fully enjoy the joys and beauties of life. In summary, self-sufficiency is a strength that enables us to face life with a sense of wholeness and completeness, knowing that, regardless of the external storms, we have within us a sanctuary of peace, strength, and contentment. It is the key to a life of true freedom, where the external is appreciated and valued, but not the main source of our peace and happiness. Thus, by cultivating our self-sufficiency, we not only strengthen our inner being, but also enrich our interactions with the world and others, offering the best of ourselves from a place of true abundance. Chapter 7. The Strength in Forgiveness. Delving even deeper into the territory of self-awareness and emotional healing, we encounter a powerfully liberating truth: the strength in forgiveness. This ability to forgive, often misconstrued as a form of weakness or submission, is in reality one of the most potent expressions of internal strength and wisdom a human being can manifest. Just as the metaphor of holding a burning coal with the intention to throw it at someone, only to find that we are the ones getting burned, illustrates, harboring grudge and resentment hurts us more than those to whom we direct such feelings. The act of forgiving does not imply forgetting or justifying the actions that caused us pain. Rather, it is a process of emotional release, a courageous step toward freeing the soul from the shackles of the past. By choosing forgiveness, we are not denying the pain we felt, but we decide it will not define or control our present and future. We are, in fact, reclaiming our personal power, refusing to remain victims of past circumstances or actions. Forgiveness is also an act of profound compassion, not just for the other, but for ourselves. It involves recognizing our shared humanity, accepting that we all make mistakes, that we are all capable of causing pain, whether intentionally or not. Through forgiveness, we make room for empathy and understanding, essential elements in building healthier and more meaningful relationships. Furthermore, forgiveness has the power to transform pain into learning and growth. Instead of allowing resentment to make us bitter, we can use painful experiences as opportunities to develop resilience, wisdom, and a greater capacity for love. This process is not instantaneous or easy. It requires time, reflection, and often the assistance of others, whether through meaningful conversations, therapy, or spiritual practices. The true beauty of forgiveness lies in its capacity to heal, not just the wounds of the past, but also to reconnect us with the essence of what it means to be human. It reminds us that despite our flaws and wounds, we are capable of love, renewal, and redemption. Forgiveness is therefore a gateway to freedom, a path that leads us out of the prison of the past and opens us up to the possibility of a future filled with peace, love, and new possibilities. Thus, by practicing forgiveness, we are not just alleviating the burden we carry, we are also lighting a lamp on the path of our own journey of healing and growth. We are choosing to live more fully, released from the chains that bind us to old pains, ready to embrace life with a lighter heart and a renewed spirit. This is the true strength in forgiveness, the ability to free oneself, to rise above the past, and to walk towards a future of greater peace and inner harmony. Chapter 8. The Beauty in Simplicity. Concluding our journey through a universe of deep insights into existence, we turn our gaze towards a principle that, by its intrinsic nature, takes us to the heart of true satisfaction and contentment, the beauty in simplicity. Zeno, with his observation that simplicity is the greatest adornment of art, invites us to reflect on the essence not just of art, but of life itself. This notion challenges us to reconsider our priorities, to re-evaluate what we truly value, and to discover the hidden riches in the simple things that often go unnoticed in our ceaseless quest for more. Living a life grounded in simplicity does not mean renouncing progress or the beauty that the world has to offer. On the contrary, it is a conscious choice to focus on what is essential, to find joy and satisfaction in the most fundamental experiences, be it the beauty of a sunset, the serenity of a quiet walk, or the warmth of a genuine conversation with a friend. Simplicity invites us to slow down, to be present, and to cultivate gratitude for the blessings we already possess. This approach to life frees us from the shackles of consumerism and the perpetuation of the desire for more, allowing us to experience a form of wealth that cannot be quantified, the wealth of experience. It is in simplicity that we find space for creativity to blossom, for relationships to deepen, and for inner peace to take root. By valuing simplicity, we make room in our lives for what truly matters, allowing us to live more fully and authentically. Furthermore, simplicity teaches us to appreciate beauty in imperfections, to recognize the intrinsic value in the most basic things, and to understand that often less is more. This realization helps us build a life not based on the accumulation of goods, but on the accumulation of meaningful moments, enriching experiences, and authentic human connections. In an increasingly complex and fast-paced world, simplicity emerges as a beacon of clarity and serenity, guiding us back to what is truly essential. It challenges us to question our assumptions about happiness and success, and to rediscover the pure joy that resides in life's simplest things. By embracing simplicity, we not only enrich our own existence, but also contribute to a more sustainable, conscious, and compassionate world. Therefore, may we all find the courage to simplify, to strip away the superfluous, and to celebrate the beauty that resides in simplicity. May this choice lead us to a richer life, not in material terms, but in experiences, relationships, and moments of pure joy. This is the true beauty of simplicity, an inexhaustible source of peace, contentment, and genuine satisfaction. Chapter 9. Resilience in the Face of Suffering. As we contemplate the complex tapestry of human existence, we encounter an inevitable and challenging aspect of our journey: suffering. Although we often perceive it as a destructive force, a cruel master that tests us to our limits, there's a transformative perspective to consider: suffering as a great teacher. This view does not diminish the pain or difficulty that suffering brings, but recognizes its potential to shape our character, strengthen our resilience, and deepen our capacity to find meaning and light, even in the densest shadows of human experience. Resilience in the face of suffering is one of the most admirable and transformative qualities we can develop. It does not stem from the denial of pain, but from the acceptance and willingness to face, learn, and grow through the most challenging experiences. This process of confronting and overcoming teaches us about our own strength, about the ability to recover and rebuild, and about the importance of nurturing hope and finding purpose. even when faced with the greatest adversities. Suffering, by taking us out of our comfort zone and confronting us with our vulnerabilities, offers a unique opportunity for introspection and self-knowledge. It forces us to question what we truly value, what drives us, and what is essential for our well-being and happiness. In doing so, we can discover reserves of strength and courage we didn't know we possessed, and develop a deeper appreciation for life and the simple joys it offers. Moreover, suffering connects us more authentically with others. The shared experience of pain can break down barriers, build bridges of empathy and compassion, and teach us about the importance of mutual support and community. By opening up to others in our moments of vulnerability, we create space for deeper and more meaningful relationships. The ability to find light in the shadows, to extract wisdom and growth from the depths of suffering, is a testament to the resilience of the human spirit. This ability to transform in the face of adversity is what allows us not just to survive, but to thrive, shaping us into more compassionate, understanding, and resilient individuals. Therefore, as we navigate the turbulent seas of life, facing storms of suffering and challenge, may we remember the transformative capacity of suffering. May it be a stern teacher, but one that teaches us valuable lessons about who we are, about the strength we possess, and about the ability to find beauty and purpose, even in the most difficult circumstances. And through this process of constant learning and growth, may we emerge not just whole, but enriched, ready to cherish every ray of light that pierces the shadows of our existence. Chapter 10. The Practice of Reflection. As we progress in our exploration of the deeper dimensions of being and living, we are invited to consider an essential practice for our evolution and understanding: the practice of reflection. Inspired by the immortal words of Socrates, "An unexamined life is not worth living," we are encouraged to delve into introspection, a process through which we can assess, understand, and ultimately enrich our journey through existence. Daily reflection on our thoughts, actions, and interactions is not merely an exercise in self-analysis. It is an open door to self-improvement. By dedicating time to contemplate our experiences, choices, and behaviors, we gain precious insights into our mental and emotional patterns, our strengths and weaknesses, and the congruencies and discrepancies between our values and our actual actions. This commitment to continual self-examination serves as a beacon, guiding us towards a more authentic life aligned with our deepest principles. It enables us to identify areas of our life that need attention, reformation, or strengthening, and gives us the tools to consciously act towards growth and transformation. Furthermore, the practice of reflection teaches us to live with greater presence and awareness. As we become more attentive to our thoughts and actions, we begin to notice the impact we have on ourselves, others, and the world around us. This heightened awareness empowers us to make more conscious choices, to respond rather than react to situations, and to live in a more intentional and meaningful manner. Reflection also fosters humility, as examining our lives honestly makes us recognize our limitations and flaws. This, in turn, opens us to continuous learning and the understanding that, no matter how much we grow, there will always be more to discover about ourselves and the infinite universe we inhabit. Lastly, the practice of reflection is an act of courage. It requires us to face ourselves with honesty and vulnerability, to question our beliefs and assumptions, and to be willing to change. This process can be uncomfortable, but it is precisely in this discomfort that the potential for profound and lasting growth lies. Thus, inspired by the wisdom of Socrates, may we embrace the practice of reflection not as a burdensome task, but as a precious opportunity to know ourselves better, to align more closely with our highest values and to live more fully and authentically. The examined life, after all, is a life lived with purpose, meaning, and ultimately, deep satisfaction. We've just delved into Stoic lessons that challenge the conventional, but this is just the beginning. Craving more transformative insights? Subscribe, activate notifications, and join our ongoing journey through wisdom and transformation. Don't keep these revelations to yourself. Hit like, comment on your experience, and share with those seeking growth. Each interaction expands our community of curious minds. Your next great discovery awaits just a click away. Let's explore the mysteries of life together, one video at a time. Until next time, keep questioning and growing. The real journey is the one we're about to begin.